Hello everyone, this is Lemonade. In Medieval 2 Total War Kingdoms Britannia campaign, Ireland has been invaded by the English for nearly 100 years now, and must now deal with the threat of Wales and Scotland back in their homeland. The English are vulnerable, so the Irish, led by Brian Unial, will be able to strike at the settlements, which are now a lot weaker on the island. We need Dublin and Trim, as well as 35 regions for this long campaign. So there's going to be a lot of fighting involved outside of Ireland itself. Ireland starts with a few spies and assassins, so better put them to use. One makes it. Let's see if the other one will make it. Send him off the Trim. And no, he's dead. Here's King Brian in all of his glory. He even has a special Chieftain's Chosen trait to top it all off. He also gets a unique unit model, which is rare because there's only 5. Derry is taken, but it's in a little bit of upheaval, and At Henry is under siege. The cunning English have laid an ambush for King Brian. Our formation is not exactly ideal, I will admit, but we do have cavalry. You too can survive ambushes by throwing cavalry at everything. Dublin has risen up to rebel against the English, but they do have a lot of Irish units inside of their garrison. Trim is now occupied, taking back all settlements in Ireland except Dublin, which has been occupied by rebels but is currently under siege. Making an alliance with the Welsh, so there will be now 2 fronts united against the English in their homeland. This is definitely my favorite Irish unit, the Horse Boys, of all things. The Horse Boys. This campaign has permanent forts. You can't build any more, but the ones that are on the map cannot be deleted at the same time. The Norwegians are trying to have a little bit of fun. The King Håkon has arrived, presumably to torment the Scottish in the north. The reconquest of Ireland is over. Now it is time to plan an amphibious invasion of England. I don't know how Cork would think of this, but I do get stronger spies, which are very useful for observing enemies. England, despite their massive size, is now getting 3v1'd by me, Wales, and now the Barons Alliance, led by Simon de Montfort. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, after all. King Edward Longshanks leaves to go on a crusade, leaving England and its cities open to more of an attack from us and our allies. The Irish invasion of England begins by attacking the settlement in Cornwall. Just a little too late with that ceasefire. The medieval version of the time machine is made, which disappointingly does not take you back in time to the dinosaurs or to the future, where everybody has smartphones. It's just a clock. This campaign has a culture system which chooses which type of units you will have depending on the percentage. So here's a bunch of English units we have in an English castle. King Brian Unial himself is getting in on some of the action. After taking Shrewsbury, he is sieging down a fort which is blocking a river crossing. Someone invented glasses. William Wallace emerges, making a even bigger living nightmare for the English.
England thinks they're so smart, assembling right outside my city with siege rams of peace and catapults of friendship. Always remember, when in doubt, cab charge it out. Gunpowder has been discovered in Europe, making battles a lot more fun and a lot more focus on ranged combat between 2 sides. The armies of Ireland lay siege to Oxford and are 1 step closer toward London. Edward is done taking his vacation in the Middle East and has returned home with an army of Templars, which will be pretty concerning for us who have to fight said Templars. Of course, he spawns right side of Oxford with that big, massive, cool army of Templar units and has some allies backing him up as well. Of course, we're going to lose. The English have the best siege weapon of all time, the trebuchet. The English will be lost without their glorious general, Garrett of Kingsbridge. King Brian ran into some spears and died, so yeah. There are more English soldiers in the army than there are Irishmen. King Brian is probably spinning in his grave. Send all the cavalry into King Edward to try and make sure he dies before the battle can even begin. He's supposed to be England's special character too. Prince of Ireland dies fighting the King of England. Edward Longshanks is finally killed in the cavalry melee, but at the cost of many Irish cavalry for this battle. Without King Edward's leadership, most of the army he had led breaks and routs before the Irish onslaught, although a few cavalry do try to make a last stand against the Irish forces. Templars attempting to get away are pursued by Sotherni and made sure they do not regroup and attempt a counterattack. Norway is the first faction to be destroyed in the Britannia campaign, presumably by their war with Scotland. Exposed artillery and cavalry charges are the best thing since peanut butter and jelly. The last of the Templar forces are defeated, and Edmund, son of Edward Longshanks, is killed. Capital of England, London is seized by the Irish invaders and exterminated. For gameplay purposes, of course. Didn't expect the guild to pop up that fast. The archers of Ireland are not as long-ranged as their English counterparts, but the Gaelic archers are very good at skirmishing and cutting down enemies, making them weaker for the infantry's assault. Their average distance is complemented by the Irish roster of cavalry, which is being put to good use in the form of the horse boys here. The light infantry are alright too. The Sotherni can be a little bit bad in melees, but they can be spammed and are very good at attacking armored enemies. Billmen scale the walls to do battle with their English counterparts, brother versus brother. The plague is now in Dublin, which is bad, but not that bad because there's no fighting going on over there. The Barons' Alliance abandons our friendship as they had been allied to Wales and us. Speaking of the Welsh, they are now sieging Shrewsbury with an army that would have been good use finding English, but they decided to attack us instead. Bombards have been brought into battle for the first time, which will be useful in eradicating any resistance the enemies show. The Demise javelin are very useful. They're just not a very good match against the Welsh archers who have invented the longbow and are quite capable in using it. The first land gains are made in the Irish-Norwegian War, with King Demise taking a fort in northern Wales. The Welsh have quite the army. Unfortunately, they are fighting us on a bridge. The Welsh cannot make any progress, as catapults rain down fire upon any unfortunate soul crossing the bridge, which results in a lot of casualties in their army. This whole battle has been catastrophic for the Welsh forces. They brought enough siege to knock out 2 castles. This isn't even a siege, this is just a field battle between a Irish and a Welsh army in a forest. The Hobgweir light cavalry come into great effect, smashing down into the trebuchets, even if there are a little few casualties taken. Wales has sent a princess to make peace. It is a little too late for that. Llewellyn Lewin the Great of Wales is under siege by a multinational force of Irish, Welsh, and English soldiers. The King of Wales is ironically defeated by Welsh spearmen and English billmen. While I've been busy with my wars, Cork has been collecting family members like trinkets, so they'll have to be put to good use. Behold, Ireland is the richest and most advanced faction. Ireland does get some descendants of the Vikings in form of Ostmen who make for capable sword-armed light infantry. The Muir, essentially Irish knights, are quite capable shock infantry and are very useful at assaulting heavily defended positions. True wars are not decided by sword and shield, but by hammer and giant wooden club. That's neat. You can hire Sherwood archers, so I suppose you can have the Robin Hood of your own campaign. The English forces storm out in all their heavily armored glory to fight one last battle. To combat that failure, we will build a new fleet to deal with any remnants of the English Navy, tormenting any crossing that we attempt to make. Ireland expands into the Isles of Scotland. As they had belonged to Norway and had fallen into the hands of the rebels, they would be of greater use to us. A glorious cavalry charge for a glorious battle, fighting for the last settlement of Wales. The Barons' Alliance officially joins the Welsh cause, even as they are about to be destroyed. All of Ireland's former allies have become our enemies, and somehow England is still alive throughout all of this. Wales at last collapses, not through any siege or any sort of thing like that, but through the last family member's death, which will destroy a faction in Medieval 2. This is an unfortunate turn of events for any football or soccer fans for those in the US, as the Lord Mayor of London has denounced the sport from being played. The Irish offensive on the Barons' Alliance is in full swing, securing Lincoln, and these are successfully done through the use of many mercenaries such as Ribalt's knights and crossbowmen. The end is near, and it is time to declare war on Scotland to seize control of any of their lightly defended settlements on the coast. This is a unique Irish unit, the Clyathari, which is the only spear unit they get naturally in their own culture, if I recall. But I didn't really get them because they were in cities. England is destroyed, and as the Barons Alliance still exists, they absorb any and all of their remaining forces, becoming, I guess, the new England. The Barons Alliance turned England is going to viciously defend this corner in order to protect their capital, York. The corner defense did not pan out well for the English, so York is taken, and so nearly all of England now belongs to Ireland. With this Scottish fortress secured, there is only one settlement left to take in order to win. There has been a slight rebellion in the Outer Hebrides as Stornoway breaks away. The situation in the Outer Hebrides has gone so badly that the army sent to deal with the rebellion has chosen to rebel themselves, taking Inverlochy from Scotland and Newcastle upon Tyne from our number one enemy throughout this campaign, England. The last pieces are secured to win this long campaign. This was an Ireland Medieval 2 Total War Kingdoms campaign. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it, subscribe if you don't mind, and you can find me on Discord. Make sure to join that. That link is down in the description. This was a fun video to make. I'll see you all next time.